Thanks for staying with us on Point. Oil, gas and renewable energy have been key talking points this week during the Africa Energy Indaba hosted in Cape Town. The conference heard about the importance of gas and how it is a viable alternative in the energy mix. SABC News reporter Liabo Setho spoke to Prashaen Reddy, a partner at global management consultancy Kearney and an expert within the energy and process industries within Africa. He spoke about the advantages of gas in the African energy landscape.
Gas is, of course, the transitionary hydrocarbon that we are looking for beyond coal and oil to take us forward. We have also, as you have correctly mentioned, identified quite a number of gas finds in Mozambique, off the coast of South Africa, as well as in Namibia, and in central South Africa as well, in the Free State. So we have an abundance of gas in the region and on the continent, and it is cleaner than coal and oil. So to take us forward as we move towards that renewable future, we will need gas to support us.
Yeah. There has been a debate about the safety of gas, that while it is a cleaner alternative source of energy, however, its safety has been in question. We've seen civil organizations protesting against nuclear and other gas sources. Why do you think that it is seen as such a threat to the environment in particular?
I think it's just maybe an understanding, because gas has been on the world for a very, very long time. It's been used in Europe, in the US, in Asia, in many other parts of the continent, including even in South Africa. So we have a lot of gas usage in South Africa as well. And I think it is a relatively safe, and if it's explored, produced in a safe, reliable way, it can be very safe. So just as we exploit oil and other resources, gas can be exploited in a very safe way. It just needs to be managed and regulated from a government point of view and from an environmental point of view, and it can be very safe.
Yeah. I can imagine that a lot of people think about household uses for gas, and I understand that gas such as liquefied natural gas can be compressed and frozen and used in the home. However, this is not a usual kind of way of getting energy. Why do you think that Africa as a whole, we are still so slow in households to explore with gas beyond LPG?
I think it has to do with infrastructure. So if you look at more mature markets like Europe and Asia, you find that they already have gas pipelines into homes, quite broadly transporting gas across different cities and metros, whereas here our infrastructure is not developed to that level. We would have to use, like you say, compressed gas to supply to homes. But I think as we unlock more gas in Mozambique, in South Africa, we need to start to develop those pipeline networks. We actually do have them. In Johannesburg, for example, with Igoli gas, we have distribution networks. Sasol gas has distribution networks. We can expand on those and take them further into homes and start to supply heating into homes as well as industrial areas to allow gas to be used more and more into the future.
How much would we need as Southern African region to go into gas and use it as one of the biggest alternative sources, seeing that we have it in abundance underground?
So I think as things stand, of course, you will notice that the IRP plan that we use to sort of structure our energy thinking in South Africa already alludes to the fact that we'll use about 3,000 megawatts of gas into the near future. So generally that would be the amount of gas to power those power stations will be part of the mix that we will need. Certainly all of our coal production today could be replaced by gas into the future, and Eskom has even been evaluating whether they can convert coal power stations to gas power stations in the future, protecting jobs and therefore allowing us to continue to use that amount of energy we use for coal, but now with gas as the source, which is cleaner burning and then will protect jobs as we move forward.
Yeah. Do we have examples of anywhere else in the world where they have replaced coal with gas and it has actually worked? You may remember yesterday the remarks made by the minister about, not wanting to follow a pendulum, and he wants to make sure that everything goes in a way that benefits communities and also protects jobs. Do we have an example of where this has worked before?
Yes, for sure. I mean, the journey of both the Northern Hemisphere regions of like North America and I would say Europe have followed similar steps in that they've had to move away from coal and then start to utilize more gas within their economies. And they had an abundance of gas as well available to them. So it has certainly allowed them to build that infrastructure and build gas economies beyond the coal power stations. So I think certainly that we've seen that in other parts of the world, and certainly that's something that Africa can take forward. Given that we have gas on the continent, we need to leverage that as an opportunity to create jobs and industrialize.
Tell us a little bit more about what green hydrogen is. I know that you're going to be sitting on a panel in a couple of minutes to talk about that. Won't you educate us about what it is and what use it is in the energy landscape?
Yeah, perfect. So green hydrogen is essentially hydrogen that is produced in green ways. For example, to create hydrogen, we take water and we run it through a process of something called electrolysis, where we separate the hydrogen and the oxygen. As you know, water is H2O. We all know that. So that is that electrolysis process is run with renewable energy. So we use renewables like solar and wind to run the process of electrolysis to create the hydrogen. So it's very green. We're using water and we're using the sun to create the hydrogen, and that's why it's called green hydrogen. Now, the reason we need green hydrogen into the future is because a lot of the industrial use of energy from coal and gas and oil cannot be replaced by renewables. We can't use the sun and the wind to produce chemicals. So hydrogen can now offer us an opportunity to start to make those industries greener by using hydrogen and green hydrogen as I've stated. So really that's the reason we want more hydrogen, so that we can look at the chemicals industry and the power industries to start to use hydrogen as well as renewables moving forward.